What if there's a place the ocean tries to forget? Not a legend or a sailor's tale, but a real physical island that doesn't belong in this world. A place that drifts through time and memory, reappearing not on maps but in the minds of those it chooses. Every 50 years, like a scar breaking open again, it rises from the sea, shrouded in mist, humming with something that feels almost alive. No warning, no explanation, just silence. And then stories, vanishing people, lost vessels, whispers that the island doesn't want to be found. It wants to be remembered. They call it Blackwater Isle, but locals say it has no name, because names give power, and this place already has too much. The first sighting was recorded in 1579. A Spanish merchant vessel, La Santa Gracia, drifted off course during a violent storm near the North Atlantic. The captain logged the appearance of a crescent-shaped landmass, rising where none had existed before. Believing it to be an uncharted island, a party of 5 men rowed ashore. The jungle was unnaturally quiet. No birds, no breeze. The men were never seen again. 2 days later, the ship's surgeon was found on the beach, eyes wide, incoherent. Clutched in his hand was a torn page from his journal, soaked through except for one line repeated again and again: "We are not alone." Over the centuries, the pattern continued. In 1702, 2 French warships vanished near the same coordinates. In 1840, a whaler reported a new island that disappeared within hours. In 1929, a British submersible dispatched near Iceland radioed a cryptic final message: "The island thinks it remembers us." Then, static. Official records blamed technical failure, but a few surviving researchers knew better, and they kept the coordinates hidden. In 1975, Dr. Adrian Wells, a marine anthropologist with a ruined career and a growing obsession, decided to investigate. Using classified logs and the whispers of retired sailors, he gathered a private expedition and set sail for the suspected reappearance zone. For 3 days, they sailed through heavy fog. On the 4th, all contact was lost. A week later, a rescue buoy was found drifting hundreds of miles off course. Inside were 2 things: a blood-stained compass and a tooth, not human. Wells was declared dead, but his legacy didn't die. His daughter, Lena Wells, only 4 years old at the time, spent her life haunted by the mystery. She grew up surrounded by her father's maps, journals, and old recordings. As the world dismissed Adrian as a delusional myth chaser, Lena quietly followed his trail. By her 30s, she had become a respected documentary filmmaker, specializing in unsolved phenomena. Her channel had millions of followers, but none of her work prepared her for what came next. In 2025, the impossible happened again. A NOAA weather satellite malfunctioned for precisely 6 seconds. In those 6 seconds, an uncharted landmass appeared in a fog-covered patch of ocean, shaped exactly like a crescent moon. Lena recognized it immediately: Blackwater Isle. And this time, she was ready. She quickly assembled a team: a cryptolinguist named Thalia, a marine biologist called Reese, a freediver named Jonah, a folklore historian named Ellis, and a psychic empath named Evo, who claimed the island had been calling to him since childhood. Together, they chartered a covert ship out of northern Iceland. Their only guide was Adrian Wells' final journal. From the moment they left port, things began to go wrong. Birds circled the ship, then disappeared. Temperatures dropped sharply. Electronics flickered. On the 3rd night, just past 3 a.m., Lena woke to find the sea dead calm. Then fog rolled in, thick as stone. At exactly 3:17 a.m., matching the timestamp from the 1929 broadcast, the island appeared. It didn't rise from the water. It simply was. Blackwater Isle stretched before them, black sands glistening like oil, cliffs lined with jagged trees that bled silver sap. It wasn't land, it was memory made real. Lena began filming immediately, but the footage corrupted. Cameras failed, watches stopped, radios went dead, and still the island pulsed, as if breathing. They stepped ashore. The sand moved under their feet, alive with a hum they could feel in their bones. Jonah said he heard whispers. Reese found salt water frozen mid-wave, defying physics. Thalia collapsed after seeing her own childhood home reflected in a pool of water, miles from where it should be. Lena clutched her father's journal, heart pounding. The deeper they went, the more the island revealed. They weren't just visitors, they were trespassers, and Blackwater was awake. The deeper they ventured into Blackwater Isle, the more the world they knew unraveled. Their GPS screens went dark. compass needles spun in frantic circles. The trees, twisted and black with veins of silver, seemed to move behind their backs, always just a little closer. There was no sun, only mist and an unnatural glow that made everything feel like a dream they couldn't wake from. Lena clutched her father's journal like a lifeline. She knew now, this island wasn't a place, it was a presence. The crew stuck together at first, but the island had other plans. Jonah was the first to disappear. 1 minute, he was setting up sonar near the shoreline. The next, only his equipment remained, still powered, still recording, aimed at nothing. They searched for hours, calling his name into the trees. Then Thalia found a note nailed to a barkless tree. It was Jonah's handwriting. One sentence: "We don't leave, we return." That night, Evo began to speak in languages no one could understand, rhythmic syllables that pulsed with strange emotion. When Lena confronted him, he only whispered, "The island is dreaming, and now we're inside her." The next day, the singing began. No voices, no mouths, just a melody carried on the wind, gentle, sad, irresistible. Reese followed it into a clearing where water floated mid-air, suspended like glass. She dropped to her knees and wept, saying only, "I saw the beginning and the end." Following Reese's vision, they found a cave mouth hidden behind thorny vines. It led into the heart of the island. The walls inside glowed faintly with pulsing light. Murals covered the stone, figures walking into water, smiling as they vanished. A woman with no eyes raised a spiral shell to the sky. Beneath her a word, Alethea. The same word from her father's journal, the same word carved into the mast of the 1579 ship. Deeper still, they found a stone chamber. Inside, the remnants of a lost expedition. Old tents, moldy books, a cracked compass. Then Lena saw it, her father's locket, and beside it, a camera, his. She inserted the tape with trembling hands. It played. Her father appeared on the screen, older, gaunt, speaking in whispers. "If you're seeing this, I never left." "Not really. Blackwater is not an island. It's a gate. It feeds on memory, on fear, on belief. It becomes real only when someone remembers, and now that you do, it will never sleep again." Suddenly the cavern trembled. The air thickened like syrup. The walls pulsed. A stone door creaked open behind the altar, revealing a pool of silver water, still glowing, humming with something ancient. Lena stepped forward. Evo tried to stop her, shaking. "She chose you! Don't answer her call!" But Lena looked down into the water and saw her father, not dead, not aged, standing in a reflection, smiling faintly, eyes full of sorrow. Without hesitation, Lena stepped in. The water accepted her like breath. She vanished. 3 days later, a rescue signal was received off the coast of Iceland. A raft, floating alone. Only Evo remained. Barely conscious, skin pale, eyes wide. He whispered one thing over and over. "She's part of it now." Lena's body was never found. But a week later, her cloud account updated. One final video uploaded automatically. It showed a dark shoreline. A woman stood in the mist, her back to the camera, holding a spiral shell to the sea. She turned, just slightly, enough to see that she had no eyes. Then static. Governments denied everything. Satellite footage was scrubbed. The coordinates were sealed. But sailors still whisper about a place that rises every 50 years. An island that doesn't exist on any map. An island that doesn't stay, but remembers. And they say 2075 is coming. This time, maybe it won't go back.